Words.
I want to say 60 something.
I can't remember.
What's that mean, man?
You don't read? You don't know how to read?
Yeah, I don't read.
Right,
What is that supposed to be on the horns on there for, man?
You know how to read?
Yeah.
What does it say? What does that say? Let me hear you read it.
This is the devil.
Nah, what does that say at the top?
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
This is the devil.
And what else does it say? What does it say?
No, thank you.
This image is not violent.
Biblical. Alright, now check this out. This image is not biblical. You see what we got right here?
Yeah.
Bible.
Yeah.
So that's telling you right there that that image has nothing to do with the Bible. Biblical means Bible history. So that's not in the Bible right here. Alright? That guy right there, Caesar boy here, second son of Alexander the Pope. They put that up. According to the Bible, the Lord is a black man.
Oh, okay.
Psalms 55 and 21.
Yeah.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter,
See, just like that Edomite.
but war was in his heart.
See? So the same thing that Antiochus was speaking back then, you know, it was slick and cunning, telling people what they gonna get and what they gonna benefit if they, you know, take on that custom, smooth and butter. But guess what? Killed them. Same way he did the North American Indians. Same way this white man, when they came into power, did the North American Indians. Broke all the treaties. You see? That's the way the serpent is, man. And you'll say, well, how you know that? Because that's the serpent, man. I know that's what they were doing. We're reading the history. All from a certain amount of things, and then when you read up in the Maccabees, it's telling you, look, we lost. Let's go make a covenant with them because we lost the things that we had. So they'll slide money up in there, give them benefits. Slide money up in there, give them benefits, and then kill them. Because we're reading about it, what they did to the women.
Words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart.
All the time, man.
His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
All the time, man. Never trust our enemy. And you got to know who your enemy is, which is the white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of.
Second Maccabees 6 and 6.
You finish that off, read that off. Hold on, finish that off and what you was talking about how they was doing the women.
Yeah, finish.
Read it one more time for me.
First Maccabees 1 and 61. And they hanged their infants about their necks and rifled their houses and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing.
Yeah, so you had Israelites, some Israelites that were joined right, and then you had 2/3 that were joined to them heathens. But that's all I want.
So some of them chose to die, man, so you know. Right.
Second Maccabees 6 and 6. Neither it was lawful for a man to keep Sabbath day or ancient feasts or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. And in the day of the king's birth, every mouth they were bought by bitter constraint.
I have 2 years left.
Constraint, Salakia, to eat of the sacrifice, and when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus covering ivory.
Carrying ivory.
Yeah, that's an idol. An idol god that they would
Incessantly drink wine.
yeah, drink wine, offer wine to. That's a wine god, Bacchus, that Israel was worshiping. And then they couldn't even confess that they was Israelites. That's when they became Gentiles, man. That's the history, man. It ain't hard. That's the history. You know? All right.
Moreover, there went out a deceit to their neighbor city of the heathens by suggesting decree. The neighbor city of the heathens by suggesting the Ptolemy against against the Jews that they should observe the same fashion and be partakers of their sacrifice.
So what was Ptolemy at? Down in Egypt. Because you had Israelites down in Egypt. Because when you go into the history, Ptolemy was over Egypt. And then you had Israelites worshiping this. Some rappers Christians. Down there. This guy. That was Caesar Borgia come from, derived from. If I can find him in here. Some rappers Christians.
Second Maccabees 6 and 8. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor city of the heathens by the suggestions of Ptolemy against the Jews that they shall observe the same fashion and be partakers of their sacrifice.
Yeah, they were worshiping Ptolemy's son down there in Egypt. This is a rapper's Christus, man. Same guy, man. Just like, there you go. Saying they got him up to date. Ah, shit. Oh, it's lucky about that. There you go. Same way. They got him up to date. Our people worship this madness. Lord ain't never been like this. Alright.
And whosoever who not conform themselves to the matter of the Gentile should be put to death, then might a man have seen the present misery. For there were 2 women brought who had circumcised their children, whom when they had openly laid ground about the city, the babies hung at their breasts, they cast them down headlong from the wall.
Yeah, so Israel was getting killed left and right, man. Israel was getting killed back then. And then today, like the scripture say, what's that, Romans chapter 12, be not conformed to this world? Yeah, that's Romans 12. Get that for me. We're not supposed to be doing that, man.
And Second Maccabees
Romans 12 and 2.
6 and 11. And others that had run together into caves nearby to keep the Sabbath day secretly, being discovered to Philip, were all burnt together because they made a conscience to help themselves for conscience to help themselves for the honor of the most scarce day.
So they're right there telling you, man, that our people was getting killed left and right. That's the history of the white man, the devil. That's the history of the Greek Empire. When they came into power, what they were doing to Israel. In the same way when they came into power, man. And when we fell in 1453, man. Took the Native Americans' land, put us in slavery, and slaughtered us. And had us in these conditions till this day. All right?
Let's see here. Romans 12 and 2. And be not conformed to this world.
Yeah.
but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
That's why you're supposed to come back to the Most High, man. You see? Be renewed, man, in the spirit. You know?
John 7:35. Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go?
Now this going into Yahweh Shai when he was speaking about it, what it was gonna happen to him, and they didn't understand what he was talking about, and they was asking him where he finna go. Alright.
Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go? That we shall not find him.
Right.
Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles?
So that's Israel being scattered, and they were saying, will he go unto the scattered Israelites among these other heathens? I mean, amongst these heathen nations? That's what they were trying to find out. Read it again.
Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles?
See? So when you look up that word Gentiles right there, what is that? Dispersed means scattered. That's a Greek word. And Gentile, what is that? Hellenist? Or Hellen?
Helen, and the other one is Hellenist.
Yeah, and Helen is the one when they don't know they Israelites.
They practice the customs and speak the language of the other countries.
Yeah.
And they don't know they Israelites.
Yeah, and Hellenists know that they Israelites.
They still practice the customs.
But they still practice the customs. Alright?
Yeah.
And that word there is Hellen.
Hellenistas, they kept their laws, they practiced, they knew they were Israelites, they kept their laws even though they were in their land.
Yeah.
You know, that's just like, you know, we were Hellen at one time. So we came back to the renewing of our minds.
Yeah. That's right.
I did, but looks like y'all over there.
Hey, howdy toddy! Howdy toddy!
That was the around and so they might be drinking in there.
1 Corinthians 12:1. And now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto dumb idols, even as ye were led.
So this is Paul explaining to the Israelites that's in Corinthians about how they was carried away from the dumb idols, being Gentiles. So we read the history, man, how they tried to hinder us, all the conditions of Israel during the time of the Persian Empire, during the time of the Maccabees, the Greek Empire, and all the way up to the Roman Empire during the time of Paul and all the way up to today. You got the same thing going on, man. All right.
Ephesians 2:11.
And they were being led away on the Gentiles because they didn't have the knowledge of Yahweh Shai. Okay.
Ephesians 2:11. Wherefore remember that ye being in times past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision, by which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands. That at that time ye were without Christ, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope, and without the Most High in the world. Read that again. This is Ephesians 2:11. Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh.
Right, in the flesh. Pursuing to Exodus, what is it? Exodus 4:25, that you're supposed to be circumcised. Okay?
Yep.
They gonna get it.
Exodus 4:25. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, surely a bloody husband art thou to me.
Yeah, she was talking to Moses, because the Most High was about to give Moses for not circumcising his son. So that's what that's talking about, and that's giving you an analogy of what it's talking about in Ephesians.
Wherefore remember ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision, by which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands.
Right.
And it says, this is go to Colossians. Show you Colossians 2 and 11. In whom also ye are circumcised with the circumcision made without hands, and putting off the body of the sins of the flesh by the circumcision of a Mashiach.
Yep.
This is Ephesians 2 and 12. That at that time ye were without a Mashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel.
You was without the Most High in His Son because you was ignorant. You didn't know. You didn't understand. And you was going after them idols and worshiping what them heathen was worshiping. Alright?
And
You was in the
strangers,
dark.
and strangers from the promise, from the covenant of promise, having no hope.
Yep. You were strangers. What's that strangers? Let's find out. Give me
1 Thessalonians 4 and 13. But I would have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope.
Yeah, that's the ones that didn't find out about the Most High and His Son and died. You see? That's what they're talking about, having no hope in Ephesians. Don't even worry about it. You see? Even the ones that's blinded and the ones that died and didn't find out the truth while they were living, don't even worry about it.
That at that time ye were without a Mashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers from the covenant of promise, having no hope, and without the Most High in the world. Galatians 4 and 8.
The Most High in the world. You didn't give me 12 and give me well, you already read that 1 Thessalonians 4 and 13.
Yeah, this is Galatians 4 and 8. Howbeit then, when ye knew not the Most High, ye did service unto them which by nature are not gods.
Yeah. So you didn't have the Most High, you didn't have Yahweh Shai in the world, you didn't know Him. So that's what you were doing. You were serving them other heathen. I mean, serving them heathen idols. So read that all over again.
Ephesians 2 and 11. Wherefore remember that ye being in times past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision, by which is called the circumcision.
Yeah, you weren't circumcised and keeping the laws of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Alright.
In the flesh made by hands.
Right.
That at that time ye were without a Mashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers from the covenant and of promise, having no hope.
Basically, you didn't the strangers and alien, you didn't know about the kingdom, the glory, the promises that was given to you. You didn't know because you were serving them idols. And you was in darkness, you was ignorant. You see? So that's what that's going into.
Having no hope and without the Most High in the world.
See? That's it on.
Colossians 1 and 21. And you that were sometimes alienated and enemies in your mind by wicked works, ye know have He reconciled.
Yeah. Brought back.
Yeah.
Brought back to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.
Through the word, man.
Through the word, the elect men of Israel. So with that, all praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.
All praise be to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.
Double honor to the elders of GMS. And salute all you brothers on the highways and byways that's pushing the truth and sincerity and the strength of Yahweh Shem Shai. And with that, shalom.
Shalom.